burn down his cars, but this dude had like a 24 case of like, I think it was Bud Light, and then he put the fire out with Bud Light. And I'm like, dude, this is great.
I just wanna ride my bike, yeah. I'm just sick of always watching the news. I just wanna go outside, yeah. Spend a weekend way up top with a view.
We're starting the podcast recording right now. So the proper and full name of this company is... I don't really do interviews, so it might be kind of weird.
That's cool. No, dude. It's called Abyss Clothing Company.
You're based out of...
And it's based out of Santa Cruz, so that's just where I live. So, I just kind of... it was pretty much me that founded it. And, like, it's just literally me, myself, and I kind of doing everything... like everything related to the company. Obviously I get help from like family, and like the logo that was that is like the main logo. I had a graphic design student from Cal Poly that's a good friend of mine. She did the logo. Sophie Northcott, she's super cool. Like,
it's a really cool logo.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I had a bunch of people kind of like, you know, give feedback, friends and family and all that stuff. So it's me like running and like making the sweatshirts and t-shirts and everything and posting on like Instagram and whatever. But it's definitely been like a collaborative effort from like, you know, friends and family, and like that's pretty much been the majority of people that have been like purchasing these sweatshirts until kind of recently with you know, all these California, like the fires going on in California.
Yeah.
I kind of made it my mission after all these to kind of like figure out a way to like support all the people that were affected by it, which is pretty significant. And the fires are still going on, so it's just going to keep growing. But I figured this was a good way to like kind of branch out. And so I started being a little more active on Instagram and like getting some more high profile like people to kind of spread the word. And so now like actually it's been pretty sweet. I've been getting orders from people like all up and down the state and like across the country, and even had like an order for sweatshirt in Puerto Rico. So it's like,
oh nice,
it's not quite international, but it's
almost
kind of is. Yeah, no, so it's pretty sweet. So yeah, so I've just been I've been slowly but surely expanding and all that stuff, and it's just pretty much due to like the goodwill of all the people in this area, and it's been awesome. So I've been stoked on it.
Nice. Yeah, it definitely is a collaborative effort because you can't do everything by yourself, and if you get your family involved, they'll definitely just try to help you succeed. So.
Yeah, and they've been super supportive. Like my dad, he was the one that really kind of pushed me to be like, hey, this is something that's pretty cool. And like friends were, you know, taking notice of it and being like, dude, yeah, that's a great idea. Or not like, they're not like, oh, you're just like, this is amazing. Like you're going to make millions off that. But they're being like, yeah, this is cool. Like I'd buy one. I'm like, well, they're pretty much like, dude, yeah, I'd buy one. And so that's actually like how this whole thing got started. Was I bought this like plain black sweatshirt, and I was just kind of like, I mean, I was living up in Humboldt. I was kind of getting tired of being like a billboard for like all these companies where you just like, you have this giant logo on you, and it's just like some big like corporation that you know is probably not doing the best things in the world in terms of like environmentally, which I'm a huge like advocate of, like ocean conservation and like and all that stuff. So I was just kind of sick and tired of that, and I didn't want to like kind of represent those people or those corporations like on me. So I bought this plain black sweatshirt at like a grocery store. Didn't have anything on it. Kind of held it like just kept it for a long time, just kind of on the back burner. And then like a year later, half a year later, I finally decided to like, I saw this cool bleach dyed pattern and was like, let me try that out. And so just did a super basic like swirl pattern on it, sprayed it like bleach, didn't really have any idea what I was doing. And then work the next day where I was working as a lifeguard, and like the lifeguards I was working with were like, oh, that's super sweet, like that's an awesome sweatshirt, like where'd you get it? And I was like, I made it myself. And they're like, what, no way, that's super cool. So they they were like asking if they could get one. I was like, sure, I'll make you one. And just ordered it, like made it super quick, gave it to them, and like just didn't really like charge them that much, if anything. And then word slowly started getting out, and like my dad and like mom and friends and family were just like, yeah, dude, this is super sweet, like just figure out what you want, like what you want as a logo, and just keep at it. And so I hit up my friend who's a graphic design student at Cal Poly, and she made this super sweet logo, and it's just kind of been all it's just been all uphill from there. So, or downhill, I don't know what the phrase is. Yeah. It's been sweet. So just keep snowballing, that's it.
Yeah, just little by little, it's definitely gonna grow. So
yeah, and it's cool to see. I thought it would, like after the summer and a couple people got the sweatshirts, that it'd be that would be it. But actually, like I was working just yesterday for the fire department that I work for, and one of the people in the crew that I was doing my ride along with, I like mentioned that I had this clothing company called Abyss Clothing, and one of the crew members, she was like, oh, I know that, she had already known about it before I like talked about it or like had mentioned it. So that was pretty cool to like see that the word had kind of spread out past like my direct influence. So
nice. What's the meaning behind the name? Like, why'd you choose that?
Well, I kind of wanted something like a little more alternative in terms of like, I don't know. So like I said before, I live by the ocean in Santa Cruz. Like I've been a huge ocean guy since I was a little kid, surfing, just spent a lot of time in the ocean, like whether it was junior guards or as a 8-year career lifeguard, or spent a lot of time, and like just got a really big appreciation for the ocean. And my my love for the ocean kind of was one of the reasons why I did this. Like again, like I said before, where these companies that like are selling all these clothing, they're not like exactly the most conscientious about ocean preservation, and so I wanted to like kind of be able to contribute that. And so initially, like my thoughts were, I could use the money I make from this to donate to some sort of like ocean conservation fund or anything like that. And like, so I wanted something that kind of encapsulated that whole ocean-minded thing. And something that really has always interested me about the ocean was just kind of like, the really unexplored areas of the ocean, the abyss of the ocean, like the Marianas Trench and all that stuff, and all the weird creatures that are down there. And so that's why the logo is one of those anglerfish, type things, where it kind of has this mystique about it, where not very many people have seen it. And like, and plus the design itself is kind of ocean-like. If you spent a lot of time in the ocean, there's a lot of like kind of darker colors down there, whether it's like dark green of seaweed, or you go dive deep and it's just black with like kind of swirling sand and all that stuff. So I felt like Abyss was a kind of a good way of that kind of encapsulates that whole mentality. So
the Abyss, I like the name. It just
me too.
Sounds really cool. It's pretty unique too. But I definitely hear you on like big companies. Like people just rep all of these companies that just don't do anything. Like they're out there purely for profit. And a big takeaway from like Humboldt business, this is totally different from like Penn State business. So we have something called the 3 Ps. That's the people. You're doing something. You're like helping people. You're also taking care of the planet, and profit is definitely still a big like part of it. So if you combine all 3 of those things, you have like a good mission. You're helping people, and you get to support yourself and your family too. So
yeah, no, it's really like once you get into like the capitalistic machine, it becomes kind of inhuman, and so it's really nice when you're able to have a business that is really people oriented. You know, the people around you. Like, I mean, I've been selling to like friends and family for the most part, and like people that are really interested in kind of the whole idea of like Abyss clothing, where, you know, it's not this big conglomerate. It's me, who's just this normal dude that, you know, wanted to sell clothing and kind of help out in any way he can. And so, yeah, and like it's the support that has been going on with, you know, all these fires that have been affecting California, and how all the profits now of pretty much any like any shirt or sweatshirt that I sell is going to the victim relief fund. So anyone that's been affected by it, which is a pretty large number, and it just continues to grow because the fires are still going on. But just to see the support from that just really gives me hope for the future, and especially in 2020 when, you know, hope is hard to come by. It's nice to have that. See. So yeah.
Pretty negative year so far.
Yeah, you know, there's definitely like positives that have come out of it, but yeah, it's definitely I think been a trying time for a lot of people. So it's good to see people kind of come together and support each other.
Yeah, it's good that you're giving back to the people who lost like their homes for the fire.
Yeah, and it's tough because I mean, I've known people personally. Like one of my buddies that was in fire academy with me, his whole family, or like his house burned down and his mom's house burned down, and it's just like these, you know, pretty significant communities that like I had interacted with a lot in academy, and just like kind of being around that area just have been absolutely devastated. And like talking to the crew yesterday during my ride along, who had been up there like the first 5 days of the fire, was pretty it was pretty harrowing to listen to their stories of these just freight train fires kind of coming, you know, nothing really you could do about it, and except just like, you know, hunker down and help out in any way you can. So it's you know, you hear a lot about all the fires in California, but like to see it firsthand and see the effects of it are pretty, you know, can be pretty devastating. You know, I've been helping out at this donation center over in Santa Cruz, and they're like, the amount of people just coming in and donating stuff has been amazing. It's really like, it's really like makes me love this community even more, just to see the outpour of support and just unabashed. Like, doesn't matter how expensive like all this stuff is, they're just buying it, giving it out, and like these people definitely need it. So
yeah, because we have a pretty big fire next to us too.
Oh really?
What's it called? The LNU fire, I think.
Yeah, no, that one I think is like, in terms of acreage, is like a bigger fire than the CZU, which is the CZU August Lightning Complex.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like crazy how in this area specifically too has been super affected. So
has it been super dry out there?
Yeah, I think it's been